Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be going over the new hotness from Streamlight. This is the TLR-1 HL for high lumens. That's not new, but the previous version of this had 630 lumens. Now they're coming out with an 800 lumen version, which is what you see here. So this one definitely puts out some serious light. And it also has some other updates to it. One of them is going to be the way it runs. So it runs a little bit cooler than the 630 lumen one did, even though it's got more output. Of course, it still gets plenty hot. It has a little hot warning on there. So if you do run it for an extended period of time, it will get warm, but not as much as the other one did. So that's certainly an improvement. But what we're going to do next is let the dogs take a quick look at it and then step out in the dark and do some beam comparisons with an older Streamlight TLR-1. Also a Surefire X300, which is a very popular weapon light as well. And then this one here, and see how the beams stack up. Come back inside, go over the details, and at the end we'll wrap it up. So that's what's coming up next, guys.
Alright guys, there's my two dogs standing approximately 15 feet away from me. This is the standard TLR, so not the new one. It's the black one that we showed you earlier. And here is the HL model, the 800 lumen model. You can see it has a much wider hotspot. It's also much brighter. If anything, I'd say it's maybe a little bit less white in tint, but not much difference. Definitely a bigger hotspot for sure. And you guys can see the spill here. We're going off camera and it's still illuminating everything just fine. We're well off camera and still getting good illumination in this area here. Here we have the Surefire, so you guys can see how that looks. And then in comes the Streamlight TLR over here. Again, nice wide hotspot. In terms of intensity, probably about the same. You can see those big pots right there. I bet Hickok 45 is jealous. He could smoke some pot with those suckers. But anyway, we will show you the Surefire here. I'll turn the TLR off and you can see the way the spill works. Definitely a defined edge, but even when the focal point is off camera, it is illuminating somewhat. And then we'll show you how that compares to the TLR. This one definitely has a better spill. There's no getting around it in terms of a wide pattern, searching or something like that. The TLR is definitely a better option than the Surefire. So we're going to in and out of focus because obviously we're in low light, but you guys can get a pretty good idea of how that works. One of the beauties of the new 800 lumen version of this light is that the interface hasn't changed at all. So this is an interface that a lot of people really like, myself included. It's pretty simple overall, but we'll go over it real quick for folks that are new to these lights. So we have a toggle here on the rear. You can actuate by pushing up or down on either side. So for right-handed shooters, to push up here with your left thumb, that's going to actually lock in place. And for right-handed or left-handed shooters, rather, to push down on it, it will lock it in place and give you a constant on. Now you can actually use momentary as well. So to do that as a right-handed shooter, you'd be working the left side of the toggle right here and just push down and I'll give you a momentary on. And then if you want strobe mode, you're going to push down twice in quick succession like that and it will strobe. Same here on this side, you can just push up and get the same feature for those of you guys that are wrong-handed. But that's how it works. That's how the interface works. So pretty simple overall to operate. This black one here is one of my older Streamlight TLR-1s, and just something to point out, this is the non-HL version, so not the 630 lumen version. But you can see there, the actual reflector has changed a little bit in there. So the new one here is a smooth reflector, and then the older one has sort of the orange peel one on the inside. Of course, this one's been used a good bit. It's pretty worn up, as is this one actually, so let's point that out. These come in 3 different colors. This is the FDE one. They also have, I believe, a fat dark earth brown one that's a little bit more brown and also come in black. But this one, of course, didn't have all these nicks and marks on it. But we've been using it out there on the range, lots of holster presentations, lots of draws, lots of reholstering, all that stuff. So it will wear on the finish a little bit there, but it is a nice anodized finish all the way around. And seems to be holding up pretty well, at least as well as the original one did anyway. Of course, anything's going to wear with use, but it is going strong there. You may have noticed that we have the Glock insert in there. However, we've been using this on several different pistols, some that don't have Glock rails, some that have 1913 style rails, and the Glock one works just fine. The inverse is not always true, but it does come with 3 different inserts there for use on different pistols. So of course, you can see it has 1913 style one, has Beretta 92, and one other that I can't remember off the top of my head. So it's very easy to switch out. You just rotate this out and slide your new insert in,
and basically you're back in business in 2 seconds. However, the Glock insert or the 1913 insert are going to take care of 99% of the guns out there on the market. On that note, we should cover installation. We have our CZ Shadow SP01 from the custom shop here. Awesome gun, but it's going to work the same on just about any firearm that you're putting it on, whether it's a long gun or a pistol. So what you want to do is you want to take this piece here and kind of back it out, and you can notice that there is a spring underneath there, which that's going to sort of hold the tension here as you're mounting it on your firearm. So we're going to mount it on the gun. Once we have it backed out enough, you can see there we didn't quite have it backed out enough, so back it out a little bit more, and it snaps into place. Now a gun like this, we're going to have multiple rails that it will lock into. In general, you're going to want to move it as far back as you can, so that way it doesn't interfere with your trigger guard, but is more readily accessible and usable with your thumbs. At this point, you're going to want to tighten it down, and one thing I recommend is that you don't use any sort of tool to tighten it down. Finger tension is all you need. Some folks know on some polymer guns, very rarely, it can cause feeding issues if you clamp it down too much, and it messes up the frame harmonics, if you will. Years and years ago, that was thought to be sort of internet lore, but there's been a lot of high-speed, slow-motion videos that have actually proven that. So finger tighten only, and you will not have any issues. So finger tighten it down, and it is rock solid in place there. And now again, to actuate, you can just use your thumb or your finger should choose to do so. We're nearing the end of the specs here, and I forgot to mention the actual runtime and things like that. So again, it's 800 lumen model with a peak candela of 15,000. So peak candela is the actual brightness in the hotspot. So it's very, very bright, which is awesome. So peak candela 15,000, and the beam is rated at 245 meters. Now in real life, one thing I can tell you is generally whatever it's rated at, in real life you basically cut it in half or 2/3, and that's what you can realistically identify and engage targets with. So 245, roughly 120 meters there, you can probably engage targets with. It's powered by two CR 123 batteries, and those batteries are going to give you 1.7 hours of runtime. So batteries here are readily available. Folks years ago used to always complain about the CR123 lithium batteries, but the benefit of them is that they are a very good power source. If you talk to folks who really know flashlights and know them well, there really aren't a whole lot of substitutes for a good lithium battery, and the 123s certainly are that. And like I said, they're readily available. You can find them at Walmart, Amazon, anywhere like that nowadays. So really no need to use an inferior battery, in my opinion, at least not on the defensive light. A few other things to cover. Number one, it works just fine on a long gun. That's something I know a lot of people like. It has a little kit to use if you want to use like a tape switch or something like that. You can buy that, and it replaces the toggle switch here on the back. Of course, the toggle switch works fine on a long gun as well. It'll mount right up on the 12 o'clock position on like a free-floated AR-15 rail, and it'll actually give you plenty of clearance for your optics, so no issues there. The weight on it, which I know folks are concerned with as well, is I believe 4.1 or 4.2 ounces with the battery, so certainly not bad. The aluminum body is plenty durable, but relatively lightweight as well. And the downside of it, if there was one, that I would say is going to be the little chrome ring around the bezel. That's something that folks don't like with these new colors that are sort of tactical, if you will. Low signature, that thing there is still kind of blinging. So if you guys at Streamlight are watching, if you guys make like a next version that's 900 lumens or something like that, I would recommend making that either black or tan or something like that. That'll fit right in there. But other than that, it's a really good light, especially for the money. So let's talk about that portion of it here. The 800 lumen models that are black are generally going to run you, at least as of today in 2016, probably $120, $125. The flat dark earth and the tan versions are going to bump that up a little bit, be somewhere in the $140 to $150 range. So that's not cheap, but it's not super expensive either compared to the competitors. Obviously, Surefire being one of them. Those are going to be, 30, 50% higher in terms of price. And in terms of durability, do I trust it? Stuff like that. One of my home defense pistols actually has a Streamlight TLR-1 HL on it. So yes, I do. They're very good lights, very durable. A lot of law enforcement officers use them. They're certainly a proven commodity at this point. So yeah, I'd say they're plenty durable for duty use. So that's pretty much it. It is waterproof too on the duty use front, so you can dip it in water, I believe, down to 1 meter without issues, and it's rated to that. You can probably go much further, but that is what it's rated for. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about it or anything like that, you can post down below in the comments section. As always, you can also post over at my Facebook page. But thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and hope to see you guys in the next video.